We live in the era of the zinger. Our digital town squares are no longer places of debate. They are arenas for performance. We've been conditioned to believe that the sharpest tongue wins the war, and that destroying an opponent with a clever label is the same thing as defeating their ideas. But here's the blind spot. While name-calling provides a temporary dopamine hit for the base, it's a poison for the mission. Today we are analyzing the high cost of insult politics. We'll look at why the ad hominem attack is a sign of intellectual surrender, examine the high-profile fallout within our own ranks, and why taming the tongue isn't just a moral suggestion, it's a strategic necessity. Let's find the focus. Welcome to the Blind Spot. I'm Lydia. Before we get to the headlines, we have to understand the biology of communication. When you lead with an insult, calling someone a libtard, a traitor, or a lunatic, you aren't just being mean. You're literally shutting down the listener's brain. Neurologically, humans have a threat detection system. When we feel attacked, our prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic, nuance, and reasoning, goes offline. The amygdala takes over. At that moment, the person you are talking to is no longer capable of hearing your valid points on the economy or the border. They're in survival mode. They aren't thinking, maybe she has a point about the FBI. They're thinking, how do I hurt this person back? Name-calling is the ultimate blind spot because it feels like power, but it's actually a total loss of influence. If your goal is to grow a movement, you need to convert the skeptical. But you cannot convert someone you have first dehumanized. This isn't just theory. History is littered with wreckage of campaigns that chose the insult over the idea. Let's look at 1993 in Canada. The Progressive Conservative Party was in power. They ran a series of ads mocking the opposition leader, thus focusing on a physical facial paralysis. The public didn't laugh. They were repulsed. The party was decimated in the election, falling from 151 seats to just 2. In the U.S., we saw the deplorables comment in 2016. A single derogatory term used to label half the country didn't make those voters reevaluate. It steeled their resolve and gave them a banner to unite under. When you attack a person's dignity instead of their policy, you create a backfire effect. The target of your insult becomes a martyr to their supporters, and you appear small, panicked, and lacking in substance. This brings us to the current friction within the America First movement. Take the recent fracture involving Marjorie Taylor Greene. Following a policy disagreement regarding the strategy for the federal shutdown, the rhetoric shifted instantly. She was branded a traitor. The blind spot here is the message this sends to the rest of the movement. If the most loyal soldiers can be branded enemies for a single point of dissent, the movement becomes a circular firing squad. It signals to the middle-of-the-road voter that this isn't a coalition of ideas, but a cult of personality where the only currency is absolute, unquestioning silence. We also saw this in the tragic passing of director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle. Regardless of Reiner's fierce opposition to the conservative movement, the loss of life is a moment for solemnity. When politics is used to turn a tragedy into a punchline, we lose the moral high ground. We prove the worst caricatures of our movement to be true. We aren't winning the culture war in those moments. We are losing the soul of the nation we claim to want to save. Now let's focus on this with the Christian lens. The book of Proverbs tells us that death and life are in the power of the tongue. That's in Proverbs 18, verse 21. We often think of strength as the ability to crush an opponent, but the Bible defines strength differently. It defines it as temperance. The Apostle James warns us that the tongue is a fire that can set a whole forest ablaze. He points out the deep hypocrisy of using the same mouth to praise God and curse those made in His image. When we engage in name-calling, we are participating in a secularized form of combat. We are behaving like the world. If we want to restore foundational values to our country, we must start by restoring them to our speech. We are called to speak the truth in love. Truth without love is a weapon. Love without truth is compromise. We must have both. Jesus didn't sway the world by calling His enemies names. He swayed the world by offering a truth so profound that it made the insults of His enemies irrelevant. My challenge to you this week is this. In your own life, on your own social media, and in your own conversations, stop the name calling. Attack the idea, expose the lie, point out the blind spot, but respect the person. True authority doesn't need to shout, and it certainly doesn't need to insult. Thank you for watching. Please support this content by engaging with the video. Like, share, subscribe, all those things. Comments. Your engagement really helps with the algorithms and helps us to reach more people with this message. To offer more direct support and join our book club, please visit patreon.com/theblindspotpodcast to choose your focus level. I look forward to seeing you in my next video titled Farmed for Outrage. Have a great day and keep searching to find your focus.